So, good afternoon, all of you. Today's class, in case of satellite communication, what we will discuss, yesterday's class or the previous class already I have mentioned that. Now we will start the satellite communication portion that is related to the multiple access techniques, different types of multiple access techniques that are included in this or that are using in case of satellite communication system that we will discuss. Before that, I want to share the slide, then we will go to the discussion. So if you see, that is the multiple access. What is this multiple access? The introductory part we have seen, and the classification. What are the different types of multiplexing techniques are there that we have mentioned in our previous class? That is the frequency division multiple access, that is called the FDMA, time division multiple access TDMA, and the code division multiple access CDMA. So FDMA, TDMA, and the CDMA. These are the three different points, three different multiple access techniques that we have discussed. We have basically introduced in our system. Layered data transmission. Now we'll see what is this layered, because we know different architectural phenomena, different construction phenomena are there. So we have to go with the layered data architecture. So if you see the article, that is the layered data transmission, that is the to exchange the information, exchange of information between the source and the destination in a communications network involves, what are the different points, involves a lot of interacting functions, that is ranging from generating of the electric signal representing the information to the smart display of the information to the end user. That means the layered structure, step by step, day by day, we have to implement the layered structure architecture. So in order to master interactions and facilitate design, it is useful to identify and group together tasks of similar nature and classify the interactions between the various groups in a well-structured architecture. So the function of the systems are therefore divided into layers. So what are the different layers? Now we will see with sets of rules. That means the obviously, if we are talking about the data structure, or if we're talking about the information flowing from one point to the another point, certain rules, certain protocols we should maintain. So within sets of rules, that is called the protocols, taking care of the exchange of information between layers. The layering principle allows for the definition of the concept of a reference model. In the 1980s, the International Organization of Standardization, that is the ISO, already derived the 7-layer reference model that we know. You have studied the network architecture, you have seen the different layers of the communication, called the Open System Interconnection, that is the OSI layer reference model based on the clear and simple principle. The principal feature of the layer, they have given the same thing. What are the different steps or the different layer architecture or the different features of the layers that they have mentioned. So the feature of the layer 1 deal with the what has been presented in the chapter, previous chapter we have discussed. You can see if we go to the models book, you can find out what are the different layers of architecture already they have discussed, because that is not included in our syllabus. So for this reason, I am skipping the section. So physical layer that specifies the electrical interfaces, that is the bits and waveforms, and the physical transmission medium, that is the propagation channel. In the satellite link layer, satellite network, the layer 1 consists of the modulation and the channel encoding technique. So these two parts are inner part of the satellite communication, that is called the modulation and the channel coding. These are the inner parts. These are the very fruitful part of the satellite communication techniques, which enables the bit stream to be transmitted and the radio link acting as the physical transmission medium. The feature that is called the of layer 2, relevant of this chapter, relevant of this chapter means the layer we are talking about the different types of multiplexing technique. So layer 2 is the data link layer. That is the data link layer, because in case of multiple techniques, ultimately which thing should be communicated? The data should be communicated from one point to the another point. So layer 2 is the data link layer, delivering data streams appearing free of undetected transmission errors to the layer above the network layer. A specific sub-layer called medium access control, that is the MAC. This term is hard, I think. This is a very randomly we are using this MAC layer. So medium access control layer deals with the sharing of the physical resource between the communicating terminals or the communicating channels. Now traffic parameters, because when we are talking about the this communication point of view, one point to the another point, the data traffic, the data modulation techniques of this, the traffic parameters, different types of traffic parameters we should discuss. So first, if you see, that is called the traffic intensity. So traffic intensity capital A is defined as, that is capital A equals to R call multiplied by the T call. That is obviously the unit will be the R long. R call is the mean number of the calls per unit time, that is called the per second, and the RT call is the mean duration of a communication system, that is the mean duration of a communication system, that is the second. So R call is the mean number of the calls per unit time, that is called the per second, and the RT call is basically the mean duration of the communication second. So The basic fundamental formula, if you see the equation number 6.1, we have mentioned the traffic intensity. What is the traffic intensity formula? If for the MCQ purpose also, if anybody asks you what is traffic intensity, the notation is capital A, and it can be defined as A equals to R call multiplied by the T call. R call is the mean number and the T call is the mean duration of communication. Call blocking probability, because call block, this term we have used several times. What is this call blocking? Mathematically we are expressing the thing. What is call blocking? It is assumed that the number of users generating calls is much greater than the number of communication channels, capital C, provided between an n terminals, and block calls are not stored. So blocking calls that cannot be feasible, cannot store or cannot preserve the thing. Under these conditions, the Erlang-B formula, that is the Erlang-B formula, we have studied what is Erlang-B formula, indicates the probability that n channels are occupied, the condition that is the small n is less than equals to capital C. So En of R, that means this En of A, that is equals to a to the power n, that is a binomial expansion, we know, a to the power n divided by the factorial n divided by summation of k equals to 0 to k equals to C, up to which duration we are moving, a to the power k divided by the factorial of k. That is the equation number 6.2. So the formula, the conditions, the Erlang-B formula indicates the probability. What is the probability? That is n channels are occupied by the small n is less than equals to capital C. That can be expressed En in bracket A, that is equals to an, a to the power n divided by the factorial n, and divided by summation sign k equals to 0. The starting limit is 0. The optimum point that we can reach in this case, that is the capital C, a to the power k divided by the factorial k, that is the equation number 6.2. The probability of blocking is given by the small n equals to C. So if you see what is the probability blocking formula, this probability capital B in bracket C comma A, that is EC KA. This figure displays the required number of communication channels versus traffic intensity. This given the probability of call blocking. And approximate for the required number of channels given the traffic intensity capital A, that can be expressed as C equals to A plus alpha a to the power half, that is the equation number 6.4. This alpha is the exponent. What is the exponent format we are writing down here? So exponent in the 10 to the power minus alpha blocking probability objective. So these are not the ultimate intention of the topic that we have mentioned, that is the multiple access. Though we will discuss about the FDMA, TDMA, and the CDMA, but these are the basic definitions that are required. These are the basic concepts that are required to discuss about the different types of multiplexing technique. Next, simply we'll see the other variation that is called the burstiness. So once the correction of the established transfer of information may occur, this burstiness relates to the intermittent transfer of data. Information is conveyed in the form of the data burst and the that are generated of random intervals. We know this kind of burstiness is checking the probability density also. So probability of call blocking, we have mentioned here one formula. Just now we have mentioned the formula. And in this case, the burstiness is defined as the peak bit rate. That is this formula, equation number 6.5. If you see, you will find that what is the formula that we are using. So the burstiness is defined that is as the peak bit rate of the active information source divided by the average bit rate. So the formula BU that is we are getting, that is equals to R by lambda L. That is the equation number 6.5. Where R is the peak bit rate, bit per second. Lambda is the message generation rate, that is the per second obviously, and the capital L is the length of the message, that is in bits. Continuous information corresponds to low burstiness, that is the stream traffic with BU of the order of 1 to 5, whereas highly intermittent traffic is characterized by the high burstiness, that is BU equals to 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 5. So if you see the bit rate formula, that means that if you see the relation, the equation number 6.5 that we have just now written, that is the burstiness is defined as the peak bit rate of the active information source divided by the average bit rate. So the formula we can write down, that is BU equals to R by lambda L. What is this R and lambda and the L? R is the peak bit rate, that is the bit per second. Lambda is the message generation. We are finding out, so that is the rate, message generation rate, obviously the unit is per second, and capital L is the length of the message bits. So continuous information corresponds to low burstiness, that is the stream traffic with BU of the order of 1 to 5. Whereas highly transmitted traffic is characterized by high burstiness, that is the BU equals to 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 5. Next, we are identifying the traffic routing. So given a demand for traffic in a network of capital N earth stations, it is necessary to establish an adequate information transfer capacity between the each pair of stations. So what is the routing, what is the protocol, what is the structure that we are following? This capacity is calculated as a function of multiple access techniques. So the required capacitance in a network containing 3 stations, suppose from station A, B and C, if you see the chart, you can easily identify what are the information, what is the message they want to spread here. So this capacity is calculated as a function of demand expressed by traffic intensity and the capacitive blocking probability, that is a typical value is 0.5 to 1% using the curves of the figure. So let's see xy, that is the capacity expressed as a number of communication channels for traffic transfer of traffic from station X to station Y. The set of capacitances required for exchanges between the capital N station is described by a matrix of dimension capital N with a zero loading diagonal, that is Cxx equals to 0. The table we are getting shows the required capacitance in a network containing 3 stations. Suppose that we are getting X equals to ABC, similarly Y equals to ABC, like this way. Information transfers occur in order according to the techniques described in the factor of the chapter that are mentioned in the Maharaj book. In our network theory book also we have studied these things. So what will be the execution, what will be the steps that we have to follow, and implies modulation to the radio frequency carrier relayed by the satellite channel. In network level, 2 techniques are considered for the traffic routing. One is called the one carrier per station to station link, that is the one thing. Second is basically the one carrier per transmitting station. So 2 different formats we are adopting here. One is called the first, if you see the first name that we have mentioned, that is called the one carrier per station to station link. Second one is the one carrier per transmitting station. So now we'll start with the first one, that is the one carrier per station to station link. What is this? We will see first. So as shown in the figure, if you see the structure, they have given one architectural point of view, they have note down, they have make one diagram. So Rx and the Tx they have shown, and in this case some arrow directional movement you will find. So traffic routing, arrow directional movement means this is specifically the routing technique. So as shown in the figure, first figure, we are talking about 6.2a. Which one is the 6.2a? According to our slide, according to this particular book, the 6.2 is the first figure. That means we are talking about this figure. This is the first figure. One carrier carries the traffic T of XY from station X to station Y. Suppose that is the notation. If you see T of XY notation, we are finding out in this case. So T of XY means from one point to another point, we are finding out from station X to station Y. First term will be that station X, that is the starting station. So in this case, if we write down traffic T, small t, suffix XY, so X is the starting station and Y is the terminating one. So the number of carriers is equal to the number of non-zero coefficients in the matrix, that is capital N into N minus 1. So the matrix coefficient defines the required capacity of each carrier, or not only in this case, in the normal network theory also, if we find out the matrix coefficients, that will define the required capacity for each carrier. That is the thing, that is the point. So in this case also, if you see the TX and the RX, the satellite link establishment parameter from the view, we are finding out TAB, TAC, TBA, TBC, TCA, TCB, this kind of links we are getting. So ABC, this kind of parameters are finding out, and the TX, RX format we are getting. Point number 2, that is one carrier per transmitting station. If we just consider the second point, that is the second figure, that is the 6.2b, you will find the 2 different one carrier per transmitting station. This article, that is the second number figure. Figure A is basically the first one, that is called the one carrier per station to station link, and the second one just now we have seen, that is the second figure, that means this particular figure. This figure is one carrier per transmitting station. So as shown in the figure, the broadcasting property of the satellite is used. This enables every station to receive all the carriers transmitting to the satellite for a single beam station. Under these conditions, it can seem that the task of carrying all the traffic from station X to all other stations can be assigned to a single carrier. The number of carriers is equal to the number of stations capital N. The capacity of each carrier is given by the sum of the coefficients of the row of the matrix, which corresponds to the transmitting station. So if you remember, same kind of thing, same kind of calculation, same kind of approach we have already adopted in the normal common telecommunication theory. The telecommunication engineering, you have studied the same thing, same kind of link establishment theory. Now, if we compare the thing, so what is the comparison? So it can be observed that the approach of figure 6.2a and the 2b, that is the two different mechanism we have just now seen, two different connection diagram just now we have seen. So observe that the approach on figure 6.2a and the figure 6.2b leads to a greater number of carriers than the approach of figure 6.2b, and each carrier has a smaller capacity. So each and individual carrier has a small amount of capacity. However, the receiving station receives only traffic which is intended for an figure 6.2a. In figure 6.2b, that receiving station y must extract x to y traffic from the total traffic conveyed by the carrier received from station x. The choice between these two approaches in an economic one, it depends on considerations such as the number of satellite channels, the bandwidth of the satellite channel, and the multiple access techniques used. In general, the fact that a large number of carriers is relayed by the satellite and has a greater penalty than having the transmit carrier of higher capacity. Therefore, the one carrier per transmitting station approach to the most often used. So that is a dedicated type of approach you are getting here. So one carrier per transmitting station, this object, this particular method, where that is a much more common, that is a much more we can say popular approach. So now we will go to the direct our interest, what we want to discuss, that is the access technique, because this is the point that we want to highlight, that we want to discuss under the satellite communication article. So access techniques means the different types of data accessing methods, the data adapting methods that will be used by using the satellite communication channel or the satellite communication link that we will discuss now. So access technique, if you see, that is the problem of multiple access arises when several carriers are handled simultaneously by a satellite repeater, which is a nodal point of the network. So you know, from the earth station, we are transmitting the signal to the satellite base station, or basically the inter-satellite link station. So the satellite will act as a repeater, and that will again reflect it back to the signal to the base station, that means the earth station. So the satellite repeater consists of several adjacent channels, that is called the transponder, whose bandwidth is a fraction of the total repeater bandwidth. Any specific carriers falls within a given repeater channel. In terms of the multiple access, there are two aspects to be considered. So when we are discussing about the multiple access technique, two different types of approach, two different types of aspects we have to consider. First one is the multiple access to a particular repeater channel, that is called a transponder. That is one unavoidable satellite communication point of view, that is one unavoidable factor. So the multiple access to a particular repeater channel. Second point, that is the multiple access to a satellite repeater. So this is the two different points that I want to mention. One is the multiple access to a particular repeater channel, that is called that is a transponder, and the second point, that is a multiple access to a satellite repeater. Now, if you see the access to a particular satellite channel or transponder, what we are getting. So each satellite repeater channel, that is called the transponder, amplifies every carrier whose spectrum falls within its passband at a time when the channel is in an operational state. The resource offered by each channel can thus be represented in the form of rectangle in the time frequency plane. This rectangle represents the bandwidth of the channel and its duration of operation in the figure. So this thing, that means the what type of duration of operation we are getting. In the absence of special precautions, carrier would occupy this rectangle simultaneously and mutually interfere. So to avoid this interference, it is necessary to receivers. That means it's necessary for the receivers. That is an earth station receiver for a transponding satellite and onboard satellite receiver for a regenerative satellite. So two different parts. Onboard processing will be there. We know these are the parts of the satellite communication, and earth station receiver for the transponded satellite, as well as the onboard satellite processing will be there to be able to discriminate between the received carrier. This discrimination can be achieved again. To now we are classifying the thing. We are classifying depending upon the multiple access technique. So as a function of the location of the carrier frequency. Just 1 minute. Uh, one thing that after completion of the class, we will take one group photo. For this reason, I mentioned the thing in our group also. So maximum number of participation will be required. So only 3 you have attended. Try to communicate with your friends also. So to enter the room, we will take one group photo after 10 minutes after completion of this particular class. So your video will be required for 2 minutes. If the
Okay.
spectra, okay, so if you see the spectra, that is if the spectra of the carrier each occupy a different subband, that is the receiver can discriminate between the carriers by filtering. This is the principle of the frequency division multiple access, that is the FDMA. So as a function of the location of the carrier energies in the frequency receiver of the frequency domain, in the spectra of the carrier, we are finding out each occupy a different subband, different type of side point we are getting. The receiver can discriminate between carriers by the point carriers by filtering. This is the principle of frequency domain division multiple access, FDMA. As a function of the temporal location of the carrier energies, that is the second part, several carriers received subsequently by the receiver can be discriminated by temporal getting even if they occupy the same frequency band. This is the principle of time division multiple access called the TDMA. So if you see, you will find a beautiful figure is given. The principles of multiple access, the principle what we are using for the multiple access technique. So first one is the frequency division multiple access, that is the FDMA. Second one, the time division multiple access, and the just now we have mentioned, last one is the code division multiple access, that's called the CDMA. So capital B is the channel transponder bandwidth. So what are the 3 different points? Initially, when we have started this topic, we have mentioned 3 different types of multiple access technique we will go in. First one is the frequency division multiple access, FDMA. Second one is the time division multiple access, TDMA. And the third one is code division multiple access, that is the CDMA. Capital B is for the channel transponder bandwidth. By the if you see the block diagram, that because in your exam, if the question format is broad question type of format, then you can face this kind of question. You have to draw the figure, you have to mention which type of multiple axis you are assuming or you are using. If you see the figure carefully, the first one you are getting the DMA, that is a slotted portion we are getting. Second one, TDMA, that is the frequency slot of getting, and the third one, that is called the CDMA, that is the code division multiple access. So this is very simple type of thing, because we know we have already studied multiple access techniques several times. In case of satellite communication also, we are discussing what? We are discussing that the contribution from the multiple access will be same here. We are using the multiple access technique in case of satellite communication also. So by the addition of a signature, which is known as the receiver, signature means the receiver, if you want to collect the thing for the receiver end, which is known as the receiver and is specific to each carrier. This ensures identification of the carrier even when all the carriers occupy the same frequency band simultaneously. The signature is most often realized by means of the pseudo-random codes, that is the pseudo-random PN sequence codes. In case of CDMA, you know which kind of code we are using. The PN sequence code, that is the pseudo-random code we are using frequently. That is the structure of the CDMA. Now, hence the name code division multiple access, that is the CDMA. The use of such codes has the effect of this broadening the carrier spectrum. If you remember the CDMA code, if you remember the structure of the CDMA code, we are finding out some kind of spreading, kind of broadened pulse shape kind of thing. So that is the structure, that is the response of the CDMA code. That is the pseudo-random code, and the PN sequence code will be included. So the use of the such codes has the effect of broadening the carrier spectrum in comparison with that which it would be have been modulated only by the useful information. This is why CDMA is also sometimes called the spread spectrum multiple access, that is the SSMA, because sometimes very frequently you are using randomly, you are using the term that is called the spread spectrum multiple access, that is the SSMA. Several types of multiple accesses as defined above can be combined in the figure. That is the figure means this. This is the figure 6.3. In the following figure, we will see the combination of the 3 fundamental types of multiple access into hybrid access system types. That is a complete structure. That is a combined structure. So multiple access, if you see the multiple access to the satellite channel, that is the article. So multiple access, that is the multiple access point of view to a particular repeater channel, that is the transponder 1, implies prior multiple access to the satellite repeater. Access to a satellite repeater is achieved as a function of the frequency and polarization of the carrier. For every carrier with a given polarization and frequency, there is obligatory FDMA access to the repeater together with FDMA, TDMA, or CDMA access to each channel. The corresponding combinations, that is a we can say hybrid type of structure, hybrid kind of figure we are getting, combining all the three different types of, that is a, if you see the figure name already they have given, that is the combination of the three fundamental types of multiple access into hybrid access types. We are combining this thing in the hybrid type of access type. So for every carrier with a given polarization and frequency, there is an obligatory FDMA access to the repeater together with FDMA, TDMA, or CDMA access to each channel. The corresponding combination of the figure can thus be considered as representative of the multiple access to a satellite repeater. In all cases, the spectral occupation of a carrier must not exceed the channel bandwidth. Performance evaluation, because each and every case we have to justify, you have to see what is the performance, what is the efficiency we are getting. So performance evaluation means the efficiency you have to calculate. So the efficiency eta of a multiple access scheme is conveniently evaluated by the ratio of the capacity available from the transponder. In the case of consider the multiple access mode, the capacity that would be available in the transponder were accessed by a single carrier occupying the full bandwidth of the transponder operating saturation power. So eta, if you see the formula of eta, we will see that is the formula we are finding out to find out the value for the eta, that means the efficiency. So eta equals to multiple access capacity divided by the single access capacity at transponder saturation. The capacity of carrier is equal to the information bit rate, that is the RB, this conveyed by the carrier. So information bit rate, that is the useful part. Using the information bit rate, we have to go through the thing. So this is sometimes called the carrier throughput. That is the throughput frequency. Throughput means that input, the input we are feeding to the system. The efficiency of a multiple access scheme then is the ratio of the sum of the throughputs of all accessing carriers to the maximum throughput of a single carrier in the transponder. Efficiency that appears as a normalized throughput. So that is called the normalized throughputs. So that's all for the technical aspects for this particular class. Now I will say a few words regarding some different things regarding our semester examination, the different labs and the classes we have in this particular semester. Then we will take one group photo and we will complete the class. So today's attendance, again, that is 4, only 3.
Nihal is joining again, sir.
Nihal?
He's joining again. He's
okay.
The power.
So tomorrow, I think Shanu sir will inform you. Tomorrow we have one PTM meeting, that is 3 p.m. In our department. Third year and the fourth year students will be there. And this PTM meeting is basically a type of, because the semester, next month most probably the semester examination will be there. And in this semester, that is your last semester, and last semester also, you are ending this, your BTech course with this online platform. So for this reason, one last, Udham sir will give some information. We will discuss the, if you are facing any problem or if you want to know something regarding the different parameters, so that thing will be required. So for this season, one OPTM, that means the online platform, using one platform, in your fourth year room, the meeting will be organized. So অঙ্কিতা একটু মনীষাকেও জয়েন করতে বলো, আর সুশুভন আর বৈশাখা পড়লেও বলো, একটু আমরা একটা গ্রুপ ফটো নেব তার জন্য।
ওকে স্যার।
2 মিনিটের ব্যাপার, বলো 2 মিনিটের জন্য জয়েন করে একটা গ্রুপ ফটো নিয়ে বেরিয়ে যাবে, ঠিক আছে?
Short time?
Time 3 p.m. Kishano sir will inform. Today we will design the meeting room, and Kishano sir obviously will inform as a faculty guardian. He will give the information. So we will be there from 3 p.m. to hardly 3:30 to 3:45. Okay, 30 to 40 minutes. Nothing special. Simple discussion will be there regarding your project 5, regarding the other examination pattern that you might face in the upcoming semester examination. like this thing. And if your parents want to say something regarding this online board of education, because no other option is there.
স্যার আমি
Unfortunately,
একটু লেফট হয়ে তারপরে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ তুমি একটু লেফট হয়ে ওদের একটু জয়েন করতে, আমি আছি, একটু জয়েন করতে বলো। And everybody be prepared that one photo will be required, so visible screen visibility should be there. Switch on your camera for only 2 to 3 minutes. I will take one screenshot and then we will end the classroom.
The next month exam.
Next, most probably July, because after July, from 1st August, the new session will start. So within July, if you see the content of the CA4 mark submission, I have seen that it is the end of the July. So most probably up to 15, after 15 July, the semester examination might be there. Most probably. The official announcement is not there, but most probably that will be the format. And before that, you have to submit the project report and all these things, because Grand Viva will be there. Most Grand Viva Rigomsal will announce, but unofficially that is decided that Grand Viva will be organized on the first week of July.
Okay.
Okay, so this information will be conveyed by Ritam sir as a HOD. He will inform the thing in the upcoming tomorrow's meeting. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shushobhan, Tenjing, Pritam, try to switch on your video. Ankita is joining. We'll take one video and we'll end up the class. সুশোভন, বিটেকটা খুব বাজে ভাবে শেষ হলো অনলাইন প্ল্যাটফর্মে, এটা খুব বাজে একটা সিস্টেম হয়ে গেল।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, এরপর স্যার এমটেকও করার ইচ্ছা করতেছে না।
হ্যাঁ, এমটেকও করলে দেখবে আমার জাস্ট মনে হচ্ছে আরো 1 বছর এভাবে কেটে যাবে, এমটেকও এরকম ভাবে চলে যাবে। ধরো যারা পড়াশোনা করো, তোমরা পড়াশোনা করতে চাও তো পড়াশোনা করছো, যারা করতে চায় না তাদের তো একটা ফ্রি কিক টাইপের। ধরো ক্লাস 12 এর এক্সামিনেশন ক্যান্সেল হচ্ছে, দ্যাট ইজ মানে एक्सीलेंट थिंग फॉर सम पीपल।
Yes.
12 एग्जामिनेशन जो कैंसिल हो रहा है, दैट इज एक्सीलेंट गिफ्ट फॉर a group of students. Okay, chalo, let's take one photo. We will click and we will finish up the class. We are ending your 4th year. We have started. I have taken the. I can remember I have taken the first basic electronics class, and now that is the satellite communication class. We are ending our 4th year BTech course. With this, we are ending at a very bad note. That is using the virtual platform. Okay, Manisha, যদি সম্ভব হয় একটু হ্যাঁ স্ক্রিনটা অন করো বাস। Okay, goodbye. So next tomorrow 3 p.m. Most probably the parent teacher meeting will be there. Krishanu sir officially will inform you. Okay, kalke 3 সময়. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Okay.